Friday, January 1st, from the hermetically sealed Level 4 biohazard containment unit that also doubles as my garage, this is Mason Brown's Year in Review. To many people, 2020 has been a dumpster fire. Those people are called optimists. 2020 hasn't just been a shitstorm, it's been a shit-nado. The horror has been almost unfathomable. There's been pandemics and wildfires, Wonder Woman 84. There was so much bad news in 2020 that this look back is definitely going to miss some of it. I'm not going to talk about the impeachment. That was so last year. I'm not going to talk about all those black people who got killed by the police because this isn't an hour-long video. I'm not going to talk about Dr. Fauci's first pitch, which was just a bit outside. Or the fly that may or may not still be on Mike Pence's head. I'm not going to revisit Trump's long walk down that ramp at West Point, even if it is the perfect metaphor for how fast the COVID vaccine rollout is going. But I will talk about some important stories, like murder hornets. Remember them? They're like picnic nuisances, only they can kill you. Oh, we didn't have them in the US before 2020. Now, they're Insect of the Year in Bee Fancy magazine. But now, let's start our look back. In January, Iranian air defenses began the year with a bang when they shot down a Ukrainian passenger jet bound for Kiev, killing all 176 on board. According to a press release from the Iranian state media, sorry, our bad. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle stepped down from their roles as senior members of the royal family. In a swift rebuke, Buckingham Palace announced that the couple could no longer use the titles His and Her Royal Highness. Harsher still, Prince Harry had to remain married to Meghan Markle. In Wuhan, China, the first death from COVID-19 took place in January of 2020. So you can see that when Bill Gates was creating his COVID-19 virus, he didn't do everything right. I don't know if all of this is accurate information. I get my COVID facts from the Plandemic documentary. In February, Roger Stone was sentenced to 40 months in prison for lying to Congress, threatening a witness, and for framing Roger Rabbit. He also should have been sentenced for having a Nixon tattoo on his back, but somehow, apparently that's legal. Why? Harvey Weinstein was found guilty of criminal sex acts and rape in the third degree. Amazingly, though, he was not charged for making me see Harvey Keitel's penis in Miramax's The Piano. Weinstein was sentenced to 23 years, but he hung himself in prison. Sure, that's what happened. In March, California started its first lockdown, and time lost all of its meaning. Millions of Americans took up baking as a hobby, toilet paper became more valuable than Bitcoin, and Tom Brady signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It was insanity. So with time just one big strange blur, let's just skip ahead a few months, shall we? And as we go through the time machine, there's Lori Loughlin. Somehow forgot that to get into USC, all you have to do is pay the university directly. There's George Floyd getting murdered by a policeman. Glad we're skipping that. It's not super funny. Then, some riots. And, look, there's a hot model in fetish gear. Well, it's not news exactly, but we all got through the lockdown in our own way. And there's the doctor who said that COVID was caused by having dream sex with demons while you sleep, which is very different from what I read on WebMD. Remember, when you're having dream sex with a dream demon, wear a dream condom. In September, Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, and Amy Coney Barrett replaced her, swinging the balance of power far to the right. And judging by her intense, wide eyes, she also has the power to think people into the cornfield. But at least her confirmation party got almost everyone in the White House infected with COVID. By October, Trump himself had got COVID. But he did not die. Because that's sort of how 2020 worked. It was a really good year for bad people. Mitch McConnell's hands turned a disturbing shade of purple. Some doctors said it was merely a condition called senile purpura, which is a fancy name for old people bruising easily, but others felt it was a far more serious condition, commonly known as palpitinitis, which is caused by casting dark side of the force lightning spells. 81 people in Turkey and Greece were killed by an earthquake centered in the Aegean Sea, collapsing buildings and triggering a mini tsunami. Despite the cute-sounding name, the victims of the mini tsunami were still buried in regulation-sized coffins. In November, in Afghanistan, Taliban gunmen killed 22 people while storming Kabul University, prompting authorities to call it the least fun panty raid ever. Back in the United States, the nation voted overwhelmingly to get rid of Donald Trump, which Donald Trump disputed, claiming the whole election was rigged. Trying to get to the bottom of things, Rudy Giuliani went to Pennsylvania to investigate the mystery of why traditionally Democratic Philadelphia had voted for Biden. A serious claim demanded a serious venue, so he held a press conference at the Four Seasons Total Landscaping Company. In December, Giuliani continued to make his case. Here he is in Michigan, being deadly serious.
The answer that I gave you is they didn't bother to interview a single witness.
I'm sorry, that's him farting quite loudly. I suppose that's one way to release the Kraken. But Rudy had more than just gas. He had witnesses.
The poll book is completely off. Completely off.
Off by 30,000?
I'd say that poll book is off by over 100,000.
What?
What about the turnout rate? 120%?
Why? We're not seeing the poll book off by 30,000 votes. That's not the case.
What did you guys do? Take it and do something crazy to it?
Even after that, Mike Pence tried to keep the charade going, flying to Georgia to claim election fraud. And like the good little running dog he is, he arrived running. Or prance clapping. I'm sorry, but for a man who says that being gay is an immoral lifestyle choice, he's chosen a really odd way to jog to the stage. But look, I'm not here to judge how a notorious homophobe prance claps across the runway. To me, no matter how a man prance claps, America should accept him for who he is. I just hope he manages to accept himself. In a totally unrelated story, anti-gay Hungarian politician Joseph Schajer was arrested in Belgium for attending a 25-man gay gangbang that was violating COVID protocols. It's almost as if the most anti-gay politicians are actually gay. But again, this story it's totally unrelated. I don't even know why I brought it up. Forget I said it. A Republican party in Queens, New York is in trouble for hosting a Christmas party which featured an indoor maskless conga line. Already, at least one person has been hospitalized and at least 2 others have become ill. The person who should be most worried is this guy. Dude, the last black guy to go to an indoor Republican party was Herman Cain. You know how that worked out for him, right? Make like Jordan Peele. Get out! The nation's dancer-in-chief strutted his stuff several times throughout the year, and apparently he learned how to get down from that gay Hungarian caught in the gangbang, because I'm pretty sure that dance is called the jerk. It's two-fisted. Good for you, Mr. President. Louisiana Congressman-elect Republican Luke Letlow died of COVID at the age of 41. Throughout his campaign, Letlow never wore a mask, never social distanced, and pushed hard to reopen the economy. As a result of his efforts, there's now a job opening for congressmen in the state of Louisiana. And in a fitting end to the year, Wisconsin beat Wake Forest in the all-important Duke's Mayo Bowl. But this is 2020. There can be no happy endings. That's the quarterback Graham Mertz dropping the trophy, showing why he's never used as a receiver. Bad hands. And it wouldn't be a year in review without a look back at some of the people we've lost. Kobe Bryant tried to beat LA traffic by taking a helicopter ride on a foggy day. He found out the hard way that LA traffic always wins. Sean Connery, the former James Bond portrayer, knew the prognosis wasn't good when his doctor told him, "No, Mr. Connery, I expect you to die." Ann Ranking. Her death posed a problem for her funeral director since all her pallbearers have jazz hands, making it almost impossible for them to hold the coffin. Wilford Brimley. Amazingly, he died of a kidney condition and not the diabetes. Olivia de Havilland. At 104, if you assumed she was already dead, well, now you're right. You happy? Ian Holm. Known for portraying Bilbo Baggins, once the ring had been tossed into Mount Doom, he began to age like a normal actor. James Lipton, now hosting a new show, Inside the Actor's Coffin. Harlem Globetrotter Curly Neal. Interesting fact, as per Mr. Neal's final wishes, his ashes were turned into brightly colored confetti and later thrown on a referee. Neil Peart. In lieu of flowers, mourners are requested to perform interminable drum solos. Diana Rigg. Before she died, she once again wanted to make sure we all knew that it was she who killed Joffrey. And finally, Dawn Wells, Marianne on Gilligan's Island, died of COVID. Apparently, the professor's bamboo ventilator stopped working when Gilligan fell asleep on the bicycle. The skipper tried to restart the power supply by rapidly beating Gilligan with his captain's hat, but by the time his little buddy resumed pedaling, it was too late. With that, we say farewell to 2020, and as we ring in 2021, let us take heed to the immortal words of Kimberly Guilfoyle.
Ladies and gentlemen, leaders and fighters for freedom and liberty and the American dream, the best is yet to come.
Thanks, Kimberly. But let's face it, there's a pretty good chance that 2021 is going to be a shitstorm too. Happy New Year, everybody.